Well, here we go. Um, I'm going to upload this to Facebook as well. And my Facebook friends got a warning yesterday that I was going to go live in regards to something I saw on YouTube with this Pastor Gino Jennings. Um, I was very, very upset and disappointed that he would go on his nationally broadcast television church show and tell so many bold-faced lies and inaccuracies about Masonry and make disparaging remarks about the Order of Eastern Stars. I made some notes because I wanted to be as accurate and stay on point as possible. What turned me on to Gino Jennings was a friend of mine has started following him, and it seems to have made him a happier, better person, and I'm all for that. And so I check him out from time to time online, and I just happened to come across one of his episodes where somebody had written him a letter who was a little bit upset that they had just discovered that the pastor of their church was a Mason. And this sent Gino Jennings on a 14-minute tirade of lies and inaccuracies about Freemasonry. And so I'm going to answer to that point only. I did a little bit of research about Gino Jennings, and I can quite honestly say I'm not surprised based on his background. The first thing out of his mouth was the fact that Masonry is of the devil. He likens Masonry to a religion, which is a bald-faced inaccuracy. It's just not true. He makes statements like you're trying to get to God through Masonry, and it's a religion, and anybody involved in that knows that that's not true. One of the cornerstones of Masonry, or becoming a Mason, is your trust being placed in God. I was saved as a 14-year-old, and I didn't become a Mason until I think I was 28, and I stayed saved and my own imperfect Christian ever since then. He refers to Eastern stars as fallen stars. He speaks about the light of Masonry, and he equates it to the light of coming to God and what have you. These are two separate things. Masonry, he refers to it as a sorority. I'm going to strike that up to ignorance. Masonry is a fraternity of brothers who live by a certain obligation or rules that we think is going to make us better people. Nowhere in Masonry are you ever going to see, read, or be taught that Masonry is your stairway to heaven. That's not true. But this is what Gino Jennings is saying. He speaks about because Masonries build hospitals and schools that they think that that's bypassing the fact that that's going to get you to the kingdom of heaven. If you don't believe me, you pull it up, Gino Jennings and Freemasons on YouTube. He speaks about the rules and some of the rituals in Masonry that are ceremonial. And he speaks about it like it's a substitute for something else. And I don't understand how he can equate it to that. He talks in very general terms about the fact that Masonry is a religion based on toys, animals, and lies. Well, again, nothing can be further from the truth. Masonry, like any other organization, sorority, fraternity, subculture, has rules, regulations, and bylaws, like a lot of our churches. And in order to be in good standing in Masonry, just like in order to be in good standing in a motorcycle club, you have to pay your dues, you have to abide by the rules and the bylaws. That's what it is. Pastor Jennings also says that if you go far enough in Masonry, that you will put down the Bible and pick up the Quran. I have no idea where he's getting his information from, but that is just a bald-faced lie. I've been a Mason for 28 years, soon be 29. And when I became a Mason, my faith was in God. My faith remains in God. I'm a old school Baptist church boy, church musician. I was then, I still am now. And Masonry hasn't affected that in a negative way at all. Don't get it twisted. I don't think the Masons need me to speak up for them. But this just disturbed me to say this. One of the most egregious things that Pastor Jennings said was that Masons have a fun house. And within this fun house, we have orgies, we swap wives or swap women. And when we're not doing that, we're engaging in homosexual behavior. Again, I don't know where this man is getting his information from, but it just bothered me to no end. And please don't think I'm just sitting here lying on the man. You can pull it up on YouTube yourself. Pastor Gino Jennings and Masons. And that 14-minute tirade will come up. We have a fun house. And that we're using the Bible as a front to engage in all of this behavior. That's not what Masonry is about. He refers to it as a secret society. Well, in part, that's true. If you're a Mason, there are certain codes and things that are between Masons, much like any other group, sorority, fraternity, or order. There are certain things that if you're not a part of the group, you're not privy to. He speaks about this light, that if I'm in the light and I will suffer all of these consequences by not bringing my brother into the light, well, that's a direct contradiction to what Masonry is about. If I have a brother that's in the dark and he shows himself to be my brother, then I am obligated to bring him into the light. Listen to what I said. If he shows himself to be my brother, my obligation is to meet him where he is and bring him into the light. And his obligation is to do the same for me if I crave that knowledge. He speaks about being killed if you want to leave. You need to get out of that mess. They'll kill me if I leave. Well, that's just ignorance, again, on Pastor Jennings' part. He speaks about an oath that we take, and he didn't take no oath, so he's going to tell. But what he just told us in this 14-minute Donald Trump-like tirade was a bunch of lies about Masons, and it offends me. And I'm no Gino Jennings, and not a whole lot of people will see this, and I don't care. And so, and then he goes on to say that I want the Masons to do something about it. Well, Pastor Jennings, you don't have to worry about me as a Mason doing anything about it, because the consequences that you're going to suffer won't come from Masons. You keep going to the scripture misquoting things and turning things around to fit your narrative. But the Bible that I read speaks about bearing false witness against your neighbor. Those are the things you have to answer to. The Bible that I read speaks about God hating the sins of lying because it's deceptive. And false prophets and teachers are equally condemned. These are the things you're going to have to answer about. I feel sorry for your congregation because I think you have them bamboozled into thinking that the things that you speak come directly from the mouth of God. And because you wrap them around scriptures, that they seem valid. Well, you, sir, in my opinion, are the one who's using the Bible as a front. And I would have felt less than the person that I think I am if I had not answered what you said. I encourage you again, go to Pastor Gino Jennings and Masonry and see what he said about Masons. And if you're not involved in Masonry or Eastern Stars, please don't believe it. If you have an interest in Masonry, seek it. Seek the knowledge and make your own decision.